in order to focus on my commitment with a capital M and capital C to purpose, capital P, at least to go past the unreal to the capital R real. Raj, I've run out of ideas with a capital I for this and guidance. 4 solutions. Sigh.
Thank God. Because now you stand at the threshold of a shift of perception that's not inhibited by any preconceptions you might have. Even preconceptions of a spiritual nature that have as their goal real spiritual healing. I've said it before. The purpose of your body is to identify the presence of your individuality perfectly, and it knows how to do this. It is its intent. And its intent was placed in it by God's will for you to be and to be identifiable without flaw. Now, I've given you some answers today. My reply to Effie applies to you as well as everyone else. It's not your body's intent to act at odds with you. It's incapable of acting at odds with you. Therefore, you do not have to be metaphysically on guard. You do not have to have the right idea, the perfect idea, to hold up like a cross against the vampire. You can dare to relax on the premise that your body desires to identify you perfectly, to show you to yourself in its perfection. Do not be defended against it, else you send out the messengers of fear. You send out the messengers of defense, not embrace. So don't embrace the aches and pains, but embrace your body as though it were your friend. And let go of the defense. Let go of the attempt to correct your body. Your body doesn't need correcting. The idea, the thought that it is your enemy or potentially your enemy because it's able to act on its own independent of you, that's what needs to be corrected. And you correct it not with correct thoughts, but with a genuine, undefended embrace of this divine thing that has as its desire, because the desire was placed there by God, to identify you perfectly. Oh, but I've done that, and it didn't work. Well, if you've done that, you did something right. If it didn't work, it was because doubt came in. It always works, but don't do it on a trial basis. Don't do it to see if it will work. Else you have a backup plan, and you're not bringing your embrace with full genuineness and commitment and peace. And that's what you want to do. So if you've already done that, do it again without reservation. Without reservation. No backup plan. No alternative. No testing this idea out. You see? That's it. Okay, we'll take a break. Okay. Next question.
The next question is from Ashish. Okay, here goes. My long-term relationship with my husband has never been easy. When things are going smoothly, I feel like I want nothing more than to see him as the Christ. When things are rough, I see the relationship as pointless. We have so little in common. Sometimes we live like strangers in the same house. Am I staying because I truly want to have a holy relationship, or am I just a chicken? What's the truth?
You're in this relationship because you have a real relationship. It is meaningful. It is fulfilling. It is contributing to your growth and his growth. The uneven times that you have together are thresholds of growth. And you both do move over those thresholds well, even if the process seems strenuous at times. Don't let the suggestion that you're a chicken sway you. The fact is that at the bottom line, despite your doubts from time to time, you know that you're right where you belong, and that this relationship is full and valuable. I would not countenance you in any way to abandon it. Okay.
The next question is from Ruth. Hi Raj, it's me, Ruth. Please tell me whatever you can about my Remember Love project. Is there more I am to do with it? And if so, can you give me some guidance? I love you, Raj, always.
Not at the present time. There has been a movement, and now there is a rest. There will be another movement, but right now, let there be peace. Let it be what it is, and wait for the movement to begin again, and you will know when that is. The period of rest here, so to speak, is not a result of neglect on your part in any way. Relax. You will be busy once again. Okay.
The next question is from Dara. Raj, thank you for the recent guidance. It has brought me a sense of peace. Is there anything I need to give more attention to at present? Dara.
No, there is not. Just be attentive in the manner that we've discussed today. But there is nothing specific that you need to know at this time. Okay.
Matthew asks, Raj, what is it that I need to know at this time in my awakening? I am very grateful for you all and for the infinite wisdom of our Savior Jesus Christ. Love to all.
The only thing you need to be alert to, I'll put it that way, are subtle suggestions that you're not accomplishing anything, that you are missing something that's causing you to be less effective than you're supposed to be. Waking up is not about being competent. To look around for evidence of the rightness of the track you're on, I'll put it that way. To look for evidences constitutes a dangerous distraction, because the evidence comes from what you're being. And in order to go and find evidence, to look for it, means you have to abandon being. You are very much on the homing beacon. You're very much on target, if I may put it that way. And there is movement, and there is evidence, but don't let evidence become a point of attention for you. You stay on the beam. You stay in the movement that you're already in. To be distracted by a call for making sure that there is evidence of your being on the right track always puts you or anyone else in a vulnerable position and will actually attract to you those who would stand at odds with you and would seem to provide you with evidence that you're not on the track, when in actuality all it's evidence of is that you've abandoned the beam, the homing beacon. Don't fall prey to it. That's the only thing you need to be attentive to. Okay. That's the end of the answer.
This question is from Mark. Hello, Raj. I started stuttering and stammering when I was 14, when my classmates laughed at me, when I got hooked up on a word. I know that my stuttering is due to a fear that I have of being judged, laughed at by other people. My voice muscles tense up, and it acts like a shield against the person I'm talking to. How can I regain confidence so as to not be afraid of being judged?
Just a moment. Just a moment. You know, until you're awake, and until you're with others who are all awake, everyone you meet is going to have some opinion, interpretation, or thought about you. And if they're not awake, their opinion or thought about you is not likely to be fully true whether you stutter or not. If you don't stutter, you're still going to be judged by some. You've got to disengage the fear of judgment from the stuttering and recognize that it's inherent in relationships between those who are not awake, period. Then, you have to find a way to refuse to make gods out of the opinions of others or those who hold those opinions. You're not here to cater to their interpretations, whether they're true or false. You're not here to govern yourself according to what other people think about you. You're here simply to make the gift of you. I want to come back to this one point. You can't afford to make other people gods to you that you bow to, scrape to, spend your time trying not to offend or displease. You're going to have to leave them with their opinion because they're the ones suffering from their opinion, their thoughts, and they're the ones who have to get them straightened out, not you. Now, I'll tell you something. There are more people in the world who don't care whether you stutter than those who do. How foolish it is to pick the ones to whom it matters and then upset yourself about it. That's what I mean by making gods out of them. You're the one upsetting yourself. They're not worth it. Their opinions are not of value because they distract you. They disturb you because you're valuing them. You've got to stop this obedience to false gods. And I want you to think about this specifically relative to the idea of serving other gods, turning them into gods. That's something you are doing in one form or another that you've got to stop. Again, be very clear on this. Until you're with those who are awake, there is no one who is not going to have some opinion or thought about you, whether you stutter or not. And there will be those who will voice their distress or dislike or frustration with you because why? Not because you're being the way you are, but because you're being in a way that they say they can't be comfortable with because of their opinions and their thoughts. Leave them with their thoughts, because they are the ones who have to come to terms with their thoughts and come to a point where they change. You are engaging in a useless activity when you worry about or care about someone else's opinion about you. Just abide with that for a while and let it release you. Okay.
The next question is from Isabella. I used to live in ashrams for many years, and I have to say the collective meditations and vibrations did keep me more in the silence. However, hierarchy ego, which manifested at times, did induce fear into the collective. When this happened, it was not a good place to be. I live on 5 acres, and over the last decade have spent my time trying to produce a little piece of heaven. However, the area itself is devoid of an uplifting collective. The property does take up a lot of time and energy to keep it in harmony. Would I be throwing the baby out with the bathwater if I move? Or is it time to move on and seek a more enlightened collective? With love, Isabella.
Don't abandon the place where you are. And don't put yourself in a state of dependence upon a collective. You be the presence of the silence and of the peace and of the knowing that comes of that peace. And you let your simple presence radiate as it spontaneously and naturally does. You don't want to be in a collective as much as you want the capacity to more and more clearly look at any brother or sister anywhere and not be fooled by the presentation they are making, but are able to see through it to the Christ that they are, so that your recognition of the Christ in them constitutes a healing correction. I do not and never have encouraged the formation of collectives, as you have mentioned, as you've used the word. You're already in a community on planet Earth. And you are needed along with everyone else. Not to engage in group think or group non-thinking, but in being the individual capacity to recognize truth right where your brothers are. This is what's needed. You need to make the gift in the community you are already a member of. Where mutual agreement about what will constitute the community is irrelevant. That's a very important point. This community that you're a member of on planet Earth is a place which is sorely in need of practical evidences of love. Meaning, individuals choosing to see the evidence of love no matter what is being presented to be able to, within, recognize the Christ in your brother, whether your brother recognizes it in himself or not. That is the gift that each of you needs to make. Because that is the way in which you secure for yourself your clarified awareness of your divinity, of your Christhood. Membership in groups, which would mean a group of people with mutually agreed upon definitions about its purpose for being, about its way to be, about its goals, and so on. Membership in groups tends to create a false sense of security in which it becomes very easy to forget to see the Christ there, because the infrastructure of definitions begin to be used as the security blanket. So be wise. Yes, it would be throwing out the baby with the bathwater to leave the property. Be the presence there. And anywhere you go. Okay.
The next question is from Jane. Love to you, Raj, and everyone here. I have some fear about the next couple of months and the challenges that I may face. Would you advise me in whatever way you think best?
Well, you'd better get out of the future. You'd better get yourself fully in the present. And you'd better use some self-discipline in the use to which you're putting your mind. If you're not taking care of the present well, because you're not present in the present, then your future present that you're concerned about will not end up being taken care of well either. Very simple point. You find your peace in the present, and you let your actions in the present arise out of the peace in the present. And what will happen and how you will deal with it 2 months down the road will take care of itself. Well, you can't bounce off of fear and come to anything other than a conflicted conclusion, one that is as likely to be right as it is likely to be wrong, because your actions will, as I said earlier, have been driven by fear, which is itself conflicted. You find your peace now. And you listen for how to be from the peace you're experiencing now, as to how to be appropriately in the now. Don't go into your peace to find out how to be in the future. You get into your peace so that you can be in utter harmony with God's purpose as He is unfolding it now, and now, and now, and now. That's the key. Okay.